I'm delighted to be here joining everyone that's in the crowd and standing up at the podium with me right now. And I'm thrilled to be here primarily to announce with my colleague Senator Metzger that we were able to deliver $13,000 in Senate funding to the Hope Not Handcuffs organization here. And look, this is, we obviously get a lot of competing interests and folks who are looking for bills or funding throughout our districts and throughout the state. And one of the things that we always try and keep in mind is $13,000 goes a lot further for an all-volunteer organization that basically has a budget next to nothing versus $13,000 to an organization or provider that has a budget of millions and millions. And so between this, I know the county also recently announced some funding that's going to the cause here. We believe that this is going to really make a big difference for this organization that Annette and all of these folks here have started, and make no mistake, because of what all of you angels are doing in the community, you're saving lives. And that's ultimately what this is about. I don't need to go on and on about the scourge that exists here in New York State, around the country, and especially here in Orange County. We all know about it. There are steps that we have taken in the state. For example, making sure that doctors don't overprescribe. They can only do a week's worth of prescriptions now, as opposed to doing months prior for an ankle sprain, which was just outrageous. But there's more work that we have to do. But in the meantime, I've always felt that the work that we in government have not yet done, the nonprofits, the organizations on the ground, they are doing an even better job in the meantime. And so we're so grateful for everyone that's here, everything that you're all doing, and certainly we're delighted to deliver this funding. Law enforcement and I think the broader community, law enforcement does a tremendous job in and around Orange County. But we're all beginning to, importantly, start to view addiction not so much as a crime, but as a disease that it is, right? And it's important that we treat those symptoms and make sure that people get the help that they need. And I know law enforcement is has been viewing it that way for some time. These drug courts around the state are doing very important work. And certainly groups like Hope Not Handcuffs are saving lives. And so we're delighted to be here, and I'll turn it over to my colleague, Senator Metzger.
Thank you, Senator Skoufis. I want to thank Annette Kars, President of the Tri-County Community Partnership, and Detective Sergeant Guy Farina, where'd you go? Of the Montgomery Police Department, my friend Laura Beck, and all of the leaders and volunteers in the community that are saving lives and addressing this addiction crisis. I do want to start by sharing some really heartbreaking statistics, because I think it's important for people to have a really clear understanding of the problem. The death rate from opioids in Orange County was nearly double the statewide average in 2018. And you guys really got your start late in 2018, so we're changing that. But we lost 106 of our community members in Orange County in that year. And that is just under double the statewide average. It is staggering, but in other parts of my district that I represent, it's even worse. In Ulster County, the rate of opioid-related deaths is over twice the state average. And in Sullivan County, all of which I represent, the rate of deaths is even higher than that. It's over 40 deaths per 100,000 people compared to a statewide average of 15. So, the challenge is huge. This is truly the biggest public health crisis that we've faced in a long time, but we can defeat it. I feel really confident that we can meet this challenge. It takes commitment, it takes courage, it takes collaboration, and that's what we have going on right here. I also want to give a shout out to Neil Meyer, who's on the town council in Walk Hill, which is part of my Senate district. I mean, all of you here, you're all part of it. I think Annette is going to talk about Hope Not Handcuffs, so I'm not going to get into that, but I can tell you it is really, as I've said many times before, we cannot arrest our way out of this crisis. That's not what it's about. As my colleague said, it's a disease, and we are all working together in partnership with law enforcement and the community to address it here. I did want to mention that I have recently been asked to join a state community advisory committee for it's a statewide healing communities project to address the opioid crisis. It has $86 million in federal funding. They've specifically targeted I believe it's 16 counties in New York State. 3 of those counties are in my district, and so which is why I am on that committee, including Orange, Ulster, and Sullivan counties. And they have an ambitious target of reducing opioid-related deaths by 40% in 3 years. And this is all, it's being led by Columbia University School of Social Work. It's really looking at, it's taking an evidence-based approach to look at what strategies are working at the community level. I am your liaison. I am bringing the information back that this group needs to make the decisions, but it takes resources to address this. It takes resources. We have the incredible volunteers, all of you, and I just want to thank you all for all but it takes resources too to administer such a big project. So, you know, this is money that we can put behind programs like this to really, really make a huge dent in this crisis. So I'm happy that we could bring what we have, and you know, we got to keep bringing more resources behind this. So thank you all. I think we want to bring up Annette now to say a few words.
So I just want to give Annette's titles. She's president of the Tri-County Community Partnership, and she's also the program director of Hope Not Handcuffs, Hudson Valley.
Oh, actually, can I just mention one thing too? The state senate is having, actually, is it maybe the Senate and the Assembly? It's at least the state senate is holding hearings on the opioid crisis around the state. The Hudson Valley hearing is, I believe, October 5th. We don't have a date and location, but I just want to let you know and encourage you all to come and bring your personal stories, personal experience in the work you do to that hearing. It's really important to share it with our colleagues on the state senate. So thank you very much.
Just want Laura to be up here as well, because Laura and I are partners in everything that we do with this program. We've spent many days and nights and away from our families and the support of our families. Emily, Laura's daughter as well, they have their own personal story, which I'll let them share in a minute. My glasses on here. I just wanted to say we're so thankful for the over 500 and I think 32 yesterday I counted volunteers who have become angels or signed up to become an angel since January. It's really an incredible demonstration of human kindness. A lot of you are sitting here today, you all have your personal stories. Wish every one of you could come up and tell those personal stories, because that's what's going to help make change. That so many of you have come forward to help somebody else out. It just shows how far this issue has touched the lives. We all know somebody at this point or have had it in our families. Thank you to all the police departments who are represented here today, some of them who have opened their doors to us. We're so grateful to Senator Skoufis and Senator Metzger for their generous donation and their belief in our program, and for believing, most importantly, in the power of community. We will use these resources to reach out to those who are in need and let them know where to find help. It's really that simple. It's just that simple. We are going to take this money and we're going to put more information out there and go into every corner and find people to let them know that we are here. When they're ready, we're ready. We will meet you wherever you're at in your life. If you're ready for help, we're going to meet you and get that help for you. So I just want to say thank you so very, very much, and I want to let Laura say a few words.
I'm not necessarily prepared to say a few words, but that's okay. Our journey started many years ago with my son, who was addicted to heroin, and it was a long 5-year journey where he was in and out of rehabilitation facilities every 6 months, and it was something that he really wanted to kick, and just it had such a strong hold on him, and he just had such a difficult time, and he just couldn't shake it. It was something that just had such a hold on him that he could not crawl out of that hole. It was a coexisting disorder with bipolar disorder as well, where he would be on medication and start to feel better and stop taking his medication, and then go to heroin to self-medicate, and it was a vicious cycle for many, many years. He overdosed and passed away on May 28th, 2017, and it was something that ended his suffering. It was very difficult, obviously, for our family, although it was something that gave him some sort of relief and ended his suffering. So we became part of this Tri-County Community Partnership in order to try and help others, which is where the Hope Not Handcuffs kind of came into our lives. This was not something that, Annette had brought the program in probably about a year after Ethan had passed away, and it was something that has taken on another life and has kind of taken hold of our lives. It has grown and grown and grown, and one thing that's, I think, really important is that for everyone to know is that, the police departments that are involved have all approached us because it's something that they believe in, and the angels that have all signed up to be part of this have all come to us because it's something that they believe in, and they just want to help, and they just want to be part of this because they've been affected in some way. And it's just such an incredible program, and everyone just wants to be involved. So again, I appreciate everything that everyone is willing to do, and to thank Senator Skoufis and Metzger, and just thank you so much, because this is a 100% volunteer organization, and we are not paid anything, and everything that we have, fund-wise is either coming out of a fundraiser that we've done, or honestly out of our own pockets, just to support, what we're doing. So thank you again. I really do appreciate everything.
Laura is the angel coordinator for the Hope Not Handcuffs program in the Hudson Valley, so press can get her title.
Yes,
I think
thank you.
next up speaking is Chief Blasco, the president of the Chiefs Association of Orange County.
Good morning. On behalf of the Police Chiefs Association of Orange County, I'd like to thank the senators for their funding for this program. In law enforcement, we have a uphill battle in trying to fight the drug epidemic that affects all of our communities, be it the cities or the towns. And the Hope Not Handcuffs is a great tool in our toolbox as we, completes our triangle of education, enforcement, and help. And so, on behalf of the Chiefs Association, we want to thank Annette and Laura and their organization for what they do. It used to be you go into a police station, you'd see some donuts and stuff like that, but we all now have these big blue boxes that want to help people. And so we really want to keep on doing that. And senators, we hope you can get more funding for our programs and making sure that we are able to help our communities and keep them safe. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
last speaker is going to be Detective Sergeant Guy Farina of the Montgomery Police Department. He's the liaison for the Hope Not Handcuffs Hudson Valley program.
And on that note, I want to just thank the town for hosting us here today. I'm very grateful for you opening up your space and what you do here. I know we have the supervisor, the clerk. I don't know if anyone else from the town is here. I know Dennis Leahy, Mayor Maybrook is here as well. But thank you to the town.
Hello. So I wanted to kind of give you a law enforcement perspective on this. So we've heard community, we've heard volunteers. Why law enforcement? Why law enforcement involved? And it's because it's actually a law enforcement program. It's actually crime prevention. Okay? It's kind of secondary to, yes, it saves lives, and it will save lives. It has saved lives. But it's also crime prevention. A lot of times in law enforcement, well, all the time in law enforcement, when we deal with drugs and drug possession and drug arrests, we start this cycle of arrest and prosecution and release, and we're not dealing with the real problem. We're not dealing with the flu, we're dealing with the cough. Okay? And the flu is the addiction or the substance use disorder. This is a pre-arrest diversion program. It's a law enforcement program. And what this creates is a community-based system of care where the police department, the community, the schools, all these organizations can come together to provide help to these people. How many crimes do we know that are committed just to support addiction? These aren't bad people that say they want to be criminals. These are crimes to support their addiction. If addiction goes away, crimes go away, deaths go away. That's why it's law enforcement. And I just wanted to briefly, and that's as long as I'm going to be, I'm going to briefly say how important it is that law enforcement has adopted these new non-traditional advocacy style policing. We're actually advocating for the community and engaging the community to engage in law enforcement, which is the way law enforcement was meant to be. We talk about the angels that volunteers, they are, but as soon as they're engaging with us in this program, they're actually law enforcement, which we trick them into doing that. Partly doing our job, which is great. So again, I want to thank everybody that's here, both senators, and I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. So it wouldn't be a funding press conference that we
So you're,
Why don't we go in front?
yeah,
Maybe?
should we go in front of
Yeah.
You'll need a big signature to
Yeah.
capture.
Let's just step up a little bit.
Come on up.
Oh, yeah, right.
Right here.
Sorry.
Try to get far away.
Smile.
Oh, you